Panama is quickly emerging as a new investment hotspot in the Americas, powered by its global trade position and a stable, dollarized economy. Now, with Mercan Group officially entering the market, a new model is taking shape, combining real estate, hospitality, and residency into one. So how does investing in Panama actually work? What makes it different from markets like Portugal or Greece? And more importantly, where are the real opportunities today? In this interview, Jasmine, CEO of Mercan Asia, and Alex, Sales and Marketing Development Director of Mercan Panama, break it down from both regional and local perspectives.
Hello everyone, good morning to everyone around the world, and welcome back to Mercan Asia Sessions with me, Jasmine. So previously, we have talked about why Panama and why Mercan decided to invest into Panama market. And today I have with me one of my colleagues in Panama, which is Miss Alex. She is the Sales and Marketing Director of Mercan Panama. And she will join with us today to discuss more about the Panama programs, the Qualified Investor Program that we are very interested in right now. Hi, Alex.
Hi, Jasmine. Greetings from Panama.
Greetings from Vietnam, actually.
Thank you so much for hosting us.
Hours in difference.
Yes, but we always make it happen, my dear Jasmine. So here we are. I'm very flattered for you to invite me to these sessions, and really looking forward to add value to your content and express a little bit of something that I truly love, which is speaking about my country, Panama, speaking about the wonderful program that we have that we're offering, and of course, our products that makes me super excited.
Yeah, we're also super excited too, because the moment that Mercan launched the Panama programs, the whole world just keep looking at Mercan and see what is the next step that Mercan is doing in Panama. But first, let's take a brief look about the Panama program. As the previous episodes, I have been talking about the Panama Qualified Investor Program, that people basically can invest a minimum amount of $300,000, and they can also qualify for a PR in Panama. But today I have Alex with me, so let's talk more into details about the key advantages that the Panama Qualified Investor Program can bring it to the people.
Thank you, Jasmine. As you correctly said, I would say that one of the biggest advantages of Panama's Qualified Investor Program is that it is speed and simplicity, right? We offer a fast track route that gives permanent residency in 30 business days. The real estate amount of investment is $300,000, which is, a very competitive amount to invest. There's a minimal physical requirement to keep the legal status in place, which this means that investors can continue living abroad without the need to properly relocate in Panama, right? So this gives important flexibility to investors. And I would say that this is absolutely something that investors do like, right? Another important or competitive advantage is that after 5 years, it's a permanent residency with a clear path to citizenship. After 5 years, investors are eligible to apply for citizenship. Once the investors are able to obtain the citizenship, meaning being able to process and get the Panamanian passport, they have access to over 140 visa-free access countries, and including the Schengen area. Also, investors are able to bring dependents as part of the application, including spouse, children under 25. However, if they are over 18 and under 25, we need to demonstrate additional information, or we need to demonstrate that they are single, have no kids of their own, and they are full-time student. However, they can be included. And also, investors can include the main applicants of the investors. So as we spoke, Jasmine, the Panama's Qualified Investor Program, we consider that is a sustainable and very competitive program. As in a fast track, in only 30 days, you're able to have access to the permanent residency with a clear path to citizenship after 5 years.
So Alex, you're talking about like 30 days, and also the family members, they can also be sponsored during the whole journey. So,
Yeah.
which means that the whole family can, at the same moment, at the same time, can receive the permanent residence once they complete the biometrics.
Yes, absolutely. I think that Jasmine, I will love to share in detail a little bit more about the process. But yes, they have to submit the application jointly at the same time, and the entire family will be received the permanent residency at the same time as well. And also, additional benefit, I would say that there's no need for the investors and the family members to come to Panama in order to submit the application. We can do it abroad. I mean, with investors being abroad. This means that with a power of attorney that our lawyers will help to facilitate all the legal paperwork, we can submit the application on the investor's behalf. And just right after the permanent residency has been duly granted, they will have the need to come to Panama to do the biometrics.
So the whole process is very simple. It looks like simple, right, Alex?
Yes, absolutely. Jasmine, the process it will initiate with the allocation of the investment, of course, right? We need to demonstrate that the investment, the real estate investment has been in place in Panama, allocated minimum amount of investment, $300,000. As you know, all our projects qualify for that. And we actually, as Mercan, we do 360 projects, turnkey solutions for the Qualified Investor Program. So we investors do allocate the investment. Once the investment is in place, and rather the investor gets the title deed of the property, or they have signed the promissory agreement contract, purchase agreement contract, we are able to move to the second stage, which is collecting the documentation for the immigration purposes, like fulfilling the legal requirements that the government has stated in order to being able to apply for the program. And well, the investor have to collect the documents in their hometown in the region. Once the documents are in place, they will send the documents to Panama via courier. Once our legal team do receive the full amount of the documents, we will do the submission. The submission takes 15 days at the Ministry of Commerce in order to get what we call the investor certificate. This proves that the investment has been in place and that the investment do qualify for the program. On a second stage, the files goes to the National Immigration Service, and it takes around 30 days. To be frank, I have seen files to be approved in less days, but
Right.
let's say it in 30. So 30 days, and the investors then will be notified that the final resolution has been duly granted, and they have been granted with their permanent residency. And it's then when they will need to fly to Panama in order to do the biometrics and get the card, the permanent residency card.
So it's a permanent residency card.
Yes, that's correct. And it's until that moment, until that point, when the investors come visit Panama, when they do the biometrics, and that they will be receiving the permanent residency card, indeed, that grants their permanent residency.
So the permanent residence card in Panama is 5-year time? Is it 5-year time?
Actually, Jasmine, that's a very good question, because it is not. Once the permanent residency is granted, is a lifetime. Actually, the card itself does not have any expiration dates. Right?
Really?
So it's granted lifetime. That's another benefit that maybe I forget to mention at the beginning. Once the permanent residency is granted, is lifetime. Now, after 5 years, investors are eligible to apply for citizenship. However, if they want to keep their permanent residency, the permanent residency is already granted in its lifetime. Now, two main requirements for them to be able to qualify for citizenship and keep the legal status in place, which is keep the investment for 5 years, and second, come visit once every 2 years. So if they fulfill those two requirements, they are eligible to apply for citizenship, and after a period of a year and a half, they will be able to get the permanent the citizenship.
Okay, so it's great. It seems like Panama government, they're very proactive in promoting the program. And also with the minimum amount of like $300,000 of investment, I believe that it is a right amount that a lot of investors around the world, they are considering Panama as one of the place of investment. So let's talk a little bit about the investment itself. So you're saying that when the investor invests into Panama, it is a real estate investment. So is it like a property, apartment, or what kind of the investment, property investment that the investor will do in Panama, especially through Mercan?
Fantastic, Jasmine. Thank you. I will go over the projects that we are currently offering for Panama. However, if you allow me, you say something really important that I would like to maybe underline, which is the government of Panama is promoting the program actively. And I would say absolutely yes. And you know what? We feel proud that the government of Panama appointed us as their strategic partners. So we are the strategic partners of the government of Panama. And we have committed with the government of Panama to help them and to scale up the program and allocate Panama's program or Panama's investment migration program into another level, right? We know that Panama's Qualified Investor Program is quite new. The program was launched in 2020. That's late. The last months of the year. So we started promoting the program actively in 2021. So it's kind of a new program, right? So I think that the government of Panama saw, what we as Mercan, what we have done in other jurisdictions as Portugal, as Greece. And of course that, Mercan is one of the leaders in the industry and hospitality industry. And, we have I think that that's one of the reasons why the government of Panama decided to appoint Mercan as a strategic partners, right? We have committed with the government of Panama to work together on promoting the program and converting the program a very sustainable and competitive program. So this being said, I will go over what we are creating in Panama, my dear, and why we feel so excited about these new offerings and about what we as Mercan, what we're doing in Panama City. So the first project that we are promoting, we have two different projects, three products, right? So the product number one is a co-ownership in the Pullman Hotel Casino in the heart of Panama City. It's a co-ownership in minimum amount of investment, $300,000 in a 5-star branded hotel, which is Pullman by Anchor, and investors can participate into a co-ownership. There's a guarantee buyback after 5 years. So the investors will be co-owning the hotel, the casino, the bars, the restaurants. The hotel is going to be allocated, as I said before, in the heart of Panama City, and we're expecting to have important, amenities, facilities, not only for tourists, but as part of our added value, we'll be able to bring and offer nice experience activities to locals as well. So that's our offering number one. Offering number two is on the 9 top floors of the hotel, we will have the suites, executive suites. The size may vary from 50 to 80, 84 square meters per suite is one bed. However, this is individual ownership. The investors will be participating in the rental pool, in which we're gonna split it 60% for the owners, 40% for the operator, which in this case is going to be operating by Mercan. Also, besides, the splits, their expected yield for this type of investment is it's stabilizing at 7 after 5 years, plus the capital appreciation that investors may be able to get if they decide to sell the property later on, which we're expecting to be around 3%. So as you see, we have one project, two completely different offerings, right? Two completely different products. Why? Because one, it focuses on buyback, minimum amount of investment of $300,000 in a co-ownership, and you have the guarantee buyback after 5 years. Very simple. Let's keep it simple, right? Second option, the 9 top floors of the hotels, we will have suites, executive suites, in which for those investors that are willing to maybe oversee or execute something more on a investment side or investment perspective, I think that having a investment in Panama City that will drive you to get a permanent residency, but also it's going to give you some yields and return after couple of years, maybe start making sense. Yes. So that's 2 products, 1 project. And then we will have a completely different project, which this is very special project. This is a greenfield project in one of the most luxury areas in Panama City that is called Santa Maria. So Santa Maria, it's a gated community. It's very well known in Panama and very renowned in Panama. It's family orientated. And actually, we are one of the few projects that were approved with the small sizes because it's family orientated community. Sizes of the apartments tend to be a little bit bigger. So Santa Maria project is a residential building. We will have 200 units, apartments, 2 and 3 bedrooms. The size may vary depending on if it's 2 or 3 bedrooms, but it starts at 80 square meters, and it will go up until 170 square meters per apartment, right? So we are one of the few projects that as entry level ticket, the investors are able to get in the area, right? So 200 apartments, the building, Jasmine, is just stunning. We do like to have a good quality of life in Panama. I don't know if you have heard about it, but this being said, as part of the building, we will have paddle court, we will have cinema, we will have yoga court or yoga area. We also have swimming pool, different jacuzzis, spa. So the idea is the owners of the project, they will have a lot of amenities to enjoy with their families there. So this project is as kind of a more traditional investment, is individual ownership. So the investors will be the owners of the title of the property, right? They will own the property fully, and they will be able to rather use the property as their best convenience, as the way they like, maybe having, a second home in Panama City, a vacational house, why not? And being able to come to Panama and enjoy our wonderful weather and have fun. Or they can also rent the property by their own. And we will also be able to offer property management through Mercan. So they can put the property for us to being able to facilitate the property management for them. Based on the financial that we have done, the expected returns of this investment are between 4 to 5% ROI annually. And we have expected capital appreciation of 4%, right? So as you can see, the idea of Mercan establishing with this power in Panama is being able to offer or to bring into the market, into the industry, 3 complementing products that may fit with different profiles, right? So if we have Americans, Canadians, they're very close with Panama, for example, for these type of markets, Panama is very familiar for them, right? We're not that far away from the US. Just to put you a little bit in context, we have 14 direct flights to the US. We have direct flights to Miami, to New York, and so many different countries in the US. So we're kind of close to each other. We're familiar. So for certain profiles, these Panama makes sense. And I'm sure that you have spoken about this before, but thanks to the fact that we use dollars as our currency, this gives certainty to the investors that their investment will be held in a strong currency.
So Mercans offer three options, very diversified option scale too, for the investors, either someone who just want a minimum amount that the Mercan group will basically preserve the capital for them and operate the hotel complex. And then 5 years later, when they qualify to apply for the passport, then we have the guarantee buyback. Am I right? And then the second option is the freehold, the one that they can also buy the unit in the same hotel complex, where basically they can get about 40-60% of split ROI, the benefits with the between the investor and also Mercan. And then the third one is the one that really attract my eyes. In fact, is, well, basically Mercan is doing an upgrade on the level of investment, and people, they basically can buy the apartment, and it seems like it's very spacious choice with between 85 to more than 120 square meters on 2-3 bedrooms. So literally, if someone, they just really want to retire in Panama, or they want to settle down in Panama, they can choose the third options. And also, if they want to have it rented, the Santa Maria, the zone that you mentioned about, is fantastic, because I also read several reports on the website, and there are like 4 or 5 premium zones in Panama City, and Mercan actually they chose basically the 2 out of the 5 golden area in the Panama City. So thank you, Alex, for all of the details and the sharing of Mercan projects and the schemes. And I hope that after this episode, Mercan Panama will be very busy with a lot of progress on developing. And we hope that in the next year to come, we can be all together to experience the construction and also a bright future that come together with Mercan investors and also the government of Panama. Thank you.
Fantastic, Jasmine. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. As I said at the beginning, I love speaking about the program, about my country, and anytime for you and your investors at Mercan and myself, we will be delighted to. If you ever want to come to Panama, please just let us know.
Sure. We'll see you very soon in maybe this month, this year, or maybe next year. Thank you, Alex.
Fantastic. Thank you, my dear Jasmine. It's been my
Thank
pleasure.
you. Have a good day. Thank you.
This marks the beginning of our journey into Panama with Mercan Asia. In the next episodes, we'll continue to explore the market, the projects, and the real opportunities on the ground. If you'd like to learn more, feel free to connect with our team at MCA Mercan Asia or reach out via email.